Alright, welcome to my first look at the new Infested Zaws that came with the Plague Star event. In the rewards table it came with 2 strikes and 2 grips, and I've just combined the 2 that seemed most fitting and made the 2 weapons. I've thrown 3 former onto each, but I'm just in my orbiter to show the colours because the colours in the simulacrum look a bit weird. There's just some kind of weird lighting going on. So that's default. Just going to randomize it a couple of times so you get a bit of an idea. I've settled on this. It's worth noting that the energy color doesn't matter, it'll always be this infested green even if you change this to anything else. It's just how it is. I've also used the Ruh II counterweights, as you can see in the name there. That's basically just setting it to 18% crit and status with the highest DPS, and I've done that on both. That's just my kind of go-to one to begin with. So it's not really a in-depth comparison video, it's just a first look, as I said. I may do something more in-depth in the future, in fact I probably will, but I'm not committing to that. So this has the same counterweights on it, so default colours again. So you can see even as I'm randomizing it, that green is still staying green. And even though down here it's saying white or teal, I guess, still green. So they look, that's what I've settled on. I actually really like the way the Cyath looks, it's quite cool. Not the biggest fan of the rapier though. As I said, 3 former on each. This is the build that's on both, and I'll be doing a comparison with a few similar weapons as well, just so you get a bit of an idea of where it stands. I'll jump into the simulacrum, and then I'll show you. Alright, do the rapier first. As I said, this is the build. Vulpine Mask is objectively the best stance. My Nova has radar on, so there's no corrosive projection. I'm gonna just go up against a couple of Corrupteds at level 150. So you can see the damage stack up over time. And I'll be using, I prefer to use the blocking combo with the rapiers, so I'll just be using that on all of the weapons to show you how that performs. Pretty good. It's worth noting that the strikes, so you can see I've only got corrosive on here, but the strikes come with viral innately. So that works in favour of condition overload because I usually build my weapons for viral, my melee weapons for viral. But you can have corrosive and viral on these, which is obviously quite impressive. I'll just do that again real quick, and I'll break the combo counter between each, so you can see that a bit. Just spread out. So I'm blocking and walking towards him and just spamming regular attack. Obviously the corrosive is doing more damage to that guy, but you get a pretty good idea. And in the rapier field, the only real contenders are the Distressor and the Endurer. So I'll show you both of them. I've got the same builds on those as well, even though this is very crit heavy and the other is very status heavy. I don't want to go crazy optimizing them because then it will just sort of skew my results. I'm just spread out again. Even with corrosive against that guy, it took a lot longer. Obviously it's not benefiting from the viral halving their hit points, but you can't go corrosive and viral on a regular weapon. We'll do the Endurer. Show you again. Exact same build, corrosive. And the Endurer is status based. They're hitting so quickly that the Berserker and Blood Rush stack up pretty quickly anyway. Did hit that guy a few times. Not much I can do about that. Trying to keep him away from the edge. I think it's pretty clear that the Zaw is superior. Could also put Viral on both of them, but in the brief testing I've done, that takes even longer to kill them than the Corrosive. I don't really think that's worth showing. Jump over to the Scythe, which has the same build again. Corrosive and the small amount of Viral, because it has that innately. And the only other Scythe I have to test this with is using a different stance, but I haven't really decided on which stance I prefer. I'm not going to form my other weapon to make this informal comparison any better. For this one I'm not blocking, I'm just walking forward and attacking. That's because it's got a spin attack. You can see him, it's a bit hard to see with Berserker going, but he sort of spins the weapon around her right hand, and that builds a combo really quickly and does a whole bunch of status procs. So it's kind of ideal against single targets, and then the other is what I generally use when I'm fighting groups because it's got a lot of momentum and a lot of movement. I'll do that against the two of them as well, even though I wouldn't usually against single target, but we'll just show you how that performs. So quite well. It's probably on par with the regular attack, I just prefer it more. It's going off the edge. Maybe just a little bit slower. But the only weapon I have in the Scythe category at the moment is the Ekw. I've got the Hate, that's obviously not done up. I need to get the Reaper Prime again. I've been slowly working my way through getting all these weapons and rebuffing them. Same build again, Corrosive. And this is using the Stalking Fan as opposed to whatever the other one was called. 20 and 20 crit status. This stance is a little bit different. I don't like the blocking combo, which is this. But the regular one has like a crazy spin when you're moving forward. It makes it good for single target because it procs a lot, and it's in an AoE, so you can hit everything around it pretty easily too. That combo reset. So the Ekw isn't, it's pretty solid, but it's not top tier. I think the Reaper Prime is better, though it's been a long time since I've used that, so I'm not really sure what the best in class is. But I think these two are better than all of their counterparts so far. I'll probably do a more in-depth test in the future where I actually record how long each one takes to kill and do an average like I did with the daggers, although probably a bit smarter than I did with them. Yeah, I'm just going to spawn a whole group of them. Maybe 4 of each. Just take them all down at once. So you can see how everything stacks up as the combo goes up. Impressive, I think. The rapier again. It's worth noting there is a combo you can use that will force a finisher with this. But I can never really get it to proc reliably, although it does happen fairly frequently on its own if you're not mashing consistently. And it forces slash procs on the beginning of every combo, so you've always got those going, which is pretty solid. So yeah, there you have it. As I said, these are the only ones I've built, and that's the only counterparts kind of weights that I've used. So I don't know if that's the best way to build it or not. But I wanted to give everyone a bit of an idea of how they performed, so you could judge for yourself whether or not it's worth going through the effort of grinding this new event, which may or may not be a little bit tedious to get these weapons. But I definitely think they are. I really like them. I think I'll be using them quite a bit in the future, and I'll be grinding like crazy to get a whole bunch more parts so that I can really optimize it and make a video on that when I do. So yeah.